Okay, I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Coralville City Council to order, please. April 9th, 2019. Roll call.
Councilmember Foster.
Present.
Gross. Here. Gill. Present. Dodds. Goodrich.
Here.
All council members are present, as is the mayor, the city clerk, city administrator, city attorney, and several additional staff members in the audience. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion to approve the agenda. We're removing item B, C, and D of item 10 and item 15. And I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, a motion to approve the amended agenda. A second?
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, the agenda is approved. Item number 4 is a proclamation I'm honored to make tonight, declaring April 7th through the 13th of April National Library Week. And I'd like to read the proclamation and then invite our library director to come up forward. City of Coralville Proclamation. Whereas libraries are not just about what they have for people, but what they do for, and with people. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions, and librarians continue to lead the way in leveling the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies. And whereas libraries and librarians look beyond traditional roles and provide transformative opportunities for education, employment, entrepreneurship, empowerment, and engagement, as well as new services that connect closely with a patron's needs. And whereas libraries and librarians lead their communities in innovation, providing outreach services, innovative programming, and access and training for new technologies, job-seeking resources, and the power of reading. And whereas libraries are pioneers supporting democracy and effecting social change, with a commitment to providing equitable access to information for all library users, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries are places of community collaboration, embracing our diverse community, including people of color, immigrants, and people with disabilities, and offering services and educational resources that transform communities, open minds, and promote inclusion and diversity. And whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and library users and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now therefore let it be resolved that I, John A. Lundell, Mayor of the City of Coralville, proclaim April 7th to the 13th, 2019 as National Library Week. Further, I encourage all residents to visit the library this week and explore what's new at your library and engage your librarian. Because of you and our library leaders, libraries equal strong communities. Signed and sealed this 9th day of April, John A. Lundell. And we have our library director, Allison Ames Gallstead. Allison, please come forward. Yep. Okay, congratulations. Okay, very good. Like to say a few words?
Hi, everyone, and thanks so much for your support. I just want to take a moment to thank not only the City Council, but the citizens of Coralville for the support of the library. This community has always understood the importance of the library since its very humble beginnings in the mid-'60s, and people are no less passionate about it today in 2019. Public libraries really do level the playing field in our communities, providing a place for anyone to access information and resources. Libraries are truly the cornerstones of our democracy. This year's National Library Week, the theme is Libraries Equal Strong Communities, and I think we really see that in Coralville. I just wanted to invite everyone to visit the library this week. We have fine amnesty during National Library Week, so if you happen to have fines, overdue fines on your card, those will be just forgotten for you forever. So come on in, and of course, there's free replacement cards. So thank you very much, and we are excited about the proclamation, and we'll show that proudly at the library.
Thank you, Allison, and good job to you and your colleagues there. You're a great asset to the community. Okay, item number 5 is citizen comments. This is the time on the agenda for anyone in the audience that would like to speak to us about an item that's not already on the agenda. Yes, please step forward, introduce yourself, and sign in.
Looks like I've signed in.
Okay, great.
I'm Vicki Belmore. I've lived in Coralville for about 20 years now, and I think it's a fun, progressive, lovely community to be in. And I've got handouts for you guys, just so you know. I would like to see Coralville pass a very progressive law regarding companion animal sales. So to tell you a little bit more about it is, if we pass this bill, pass a law, then we would not allow a pet store to sell puppy mill puppies or kitties out of their store. They would only be able to sell, or actually adopt, humane animals from shelters or rescues. And I know that I've talked to Megan several times by email, and she said that our city attorney has some questions. And so with that in mind, I got a hold of the Humane Society, and they came up with some really good information about different ordinances that have been challenged, and not a one of them the challenge stood. They all passed. And so there's other information here about different ordinances. There's 3 communities in Iowa right now that have passed this ordinance, and it's holding. So we're not worried about any Iowa law coming down, and that would be Fraser, Iowa passed in October of 17, Boone, Iowa passed in May of 18, and Stewart passed in January of 18. So they have some leg under them, they have some length, and they're still holding. So we're hoping to maybe get this done. And the concern is really that we have some really horrible puppy mill laws in our state and some horrible puppy mills. And there's more information about this, but basically we're second in the nation. That's something to be real proud of. But if we pass a ban, then we're removing some of the places these people can go to sell their dogs or cats or bunnies even. So we're trying to make it less favorable to have that as a sideline job. So, you know, and I know that right now we're looking at Cedar Rapids and Lynn County are looking at passing their bans. And I just can't believe that. I think Coralville is so much more progressive than those communities. I'd like to see us beat them to the punch. Because everywhere where they pass a ban, there's less areas where people can sell their dogs. So let me get these hand out, and then I've got a couple more things, and I'll let you guys get back to your meetings. But if you have any questions, ask them today, get a hold of me. I'm available, I have a lot of resources.
He's the most important one to get it. So.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna run out, I think. I only thought of 10 people, so.
Well, we could share.
Yeah, I can share.
Just one.
One works fine.
One for you too?
Yes.
Yeah. So right now, we're looking at places like Chicago and Cook County. They had a horrible puppy mill problem in Illinois a few years ago. They passed those 2 bans, and they are now one of the top states in the nation with their animal husbandry. It makes that big of a difference. So I belong to a group called Bailing Out Benji. It's just a volunteer group, and that's all we do. We raise public awareness, and we try to get these bans enacted, and we try to rescue dogs that are sitting in those situations. But right now, in Iowa, we have 290 licenses in puppy mills. 290. We have 15 of the most 100 worst puppy mills in the nation in Iowa. So we need to start stepping up to the plate.
Vicki, are there known locations in Coralville that are selling these animals?
Nobody. So if we enact this ban right now, we're not hurting any business. But it will stop someone from coming in and doing it. We already have one store in Iowa City that is selling puppy mill puppies. And he actually even admits, and if you look at his paperwork, they're coming from some of the horrible 100 puppy mills. So we need to kind of, I don't want to hurt anybody's business, and I know that all pet lands in California and Canada have gone humane, that they can only adopt out. They cannot sell puppies. So it makes a difference, it really does. So is there anything I can get you guys? Do you need do you need me to send around a petition and get a bunch of signatures of Coralville people?
Information, I'm here to get in touch with you with questions.
No, but I can give that to you. I'll write it down, bring it up to you in a little bit, okay? But yeah, we have meetings in North Liberty once a month with Bailing Out Benji, and we're one of hundreds of groups. And they're all over the state, they're all over the country now. People just want to stop the puppy mill situation. I personally have fostered several, so I can tell you some of the issues they go through. So we really would like to see this ban passed. And I just keep thinking, you know, Coralville's so progressive. We can do better, you know?
Okay, well, let us digest this information,
Okay.
and we'll...
And holler if you need any help. Megan's got how to get a hold of me, but I'll
Okay.
come up and give it to you in just a minute.
Okay, and if you signed in with your contact information, the clerk records that as well, so...
I'll put down my phone number.
Yep, that's good. Thank you.
You bet.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak to us tonight about an item not already on the agenda?
I missed the beginning of your session, but I just came to, I live in Western Hills, and I got a problem with the guardrail that got put up.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, please, and
Yeah, my name is William Hallbaker. I live in Western Hills. I've been, I guess, been here 30 years. Anyway, there was originally a guardrail put up and turn lane put in to get into Western Hills to ease the traffic flow there on Highway 6, and it was just a cable one, and so it was narrow and it was easy enough to walk around, and that got replaced last year with a large wooden one. It takes up about 18 inches of space, and so there's no room to walk on the outside of it. And so to walk from Western Hills to anywhere in town, you have to step out on the road in the turn lane, or you have to cross the street and walk with your back to the traffic to get into town.
So what you're saying is the highway, it's the highway?
Yes, it's Highway 6. And the other issue I have, thank you. The other issue is the corner, the curb going up to, from Jones Boulevard to, oh, is it Commerce Lane there? It comes across in front of Walmart. There's no sidewalk on either side of the street. And so to get to the grocery store, to anything up there, we're walking generally in deep grass. Anybody that doesn't have a driver's license, or it's just, it's a big inconvenience as well as being a safety issue. And then also the people that ride the bus out to the mall and then work in that area have a lack of sidewalks to get from the mall parking lot up under the interstate bridge there to get to Gordon's area or the other side. And so I thought I'd bring it to somebody's attention that somebody should think about sidewalks.
yeah, be sure and sign in so we can get back to you, but our staff, our engineering staff, has regular conversations with the district office of the Iowa DOT, and this is the first I've heard about the guardrail issue, the first issue you spoke about. So we can be in touch with the DOT, because it would probably be their responsibility, I would think. And we could represent your concern. And I also am aware of what you're talking about, unfortunately, at the interstate near the mall, to get from the north to the south side, there are no sidewalks, and it's been discussed before, and it's a very challenging engineering design. Unfortunately, if we had to do it today, I bet they would be built with sidewalks, but they weren't back then, and
Yeah, the DOT doesn't allow for
No.
sidewalks when it's the free right
Well, we have the
Free right.
we have the underpass on the
Right.
east side of the mall that you can go under into the park
Yeah.
and come back up. I know it's a long trek, but
That's a long trek for
Yeah.
somebody,
But
especially
they-
if the weather's
But their
inclement.
regulations do
Yeah.
not allow for them to, for you to cross the exits and entrances of the interstate. And you'd have to have tunnels underneath.
That
because-
explains that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the curve up to, from Costco up would be nice too, because nobody will ever, some of that will never, ever get built up because the fence, it's too narrow for lots. Some of it will eventually get developed, but there's places there that, about 100 yards or so on that curve. And I'm not sure if Costco actually owns the property. It comes around down to the big lake there, or pond.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so when we did the Costco development, when we put sidewalk if sidewalk is up to that pond, they are required to put that in at the time we can get sidewalk from the other way to match them.
So they'll meet in the middle. with
So
this.
they'll have to put the sidewalk in all the way to the pond, to Ewalt Pond. or,
Okay. So like
at
there is,
that
so
time.
like eventually there will be a
Yeah,
sidewalk.
that would be nice to see,
Okay.
because it is kind of, it is a dangerous spot, so. Anyway, that's all I wanted to do.
Great, well, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for coming out tonight.
Yep, have a nice evening.
You too, William. Anybody else like to speak to us tonight? Okay, moving on then. Item 6 is excess James Street right-of-way vacation, vacating some land. Item A is a public hearing on this vacation, an excess James Street right-of-way, which is a sliver of property that is part of Lot 1 of Coral Galleria Part 3 development. Is there anything more that needs to be said before I open the public hearing about this?
This is just a small sliver of property that when James Street was platted, this somehow did not get, they platted as part of the right of way, and we don't need it. We have enough room, so it'll just get part of that redevelopment we passed last time, so.
Okay, just cleaning it up,
Yep.
basically. Okay. I'd like to open a public hearing. Are there any comments on this proposal to dispose of property? Any written?
No, Richard.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing and consider the resolution. Don?
Resolution approving the disposal of certain real property located on Lot 1, Coral Galleria, Part 3, Coralville, Iowa. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second. Seconded by Gross. Discussion? Roll call.
Gross. Aye. Gill. Aye. Dodds. Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item 7 is Iowa River Landing East 2nd Avenue Utility Improvements Project, 2019. It's also, the first item is a public hearing, but our city engineer, Dan Holderness, is coming forward, so I bet he's going to tell us something.
We're getting ready to make the bid report once we get to that point.
Okay, so basically, this is the project they're holding the public hearing on is the plan specifications, estimates of cost for the utilities on East 2nd Avenue, the new section of East 2nd Avenue adjacent to essentially the arena. Open a public hearing. Are there any comments? Any written?
No, Richard.
Okay, close the public hearing, and item B is consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the plan specifications, estimate of cost, and form of contract for the Iowa River Landing East 2nd Avenue Utility Improvements Project 2019, introduced by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Gill. Any discussion? Roll call.
Gill. Aye. Dodds. Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Now, item C is the bid report.
Have a bid report that we're passing around. Bids were received this morning at 11 o'clock for this project. We received 2 bids. The bids were from Dave Schmidt Construction and Maxwell Construction, both local companies that we worked with in the past. The low bid was submitted by Dave Schmidt in the amount of $343,143.90. The engineer's estimate for this project was $548,794. So it was a very good bid by both companies. And so Schmidt's bid was about 37% below the estimate, which was fantastic for once to get a nice, good low bid. So we would recommend award of the contract to Dave Schmidt Construction in the amount of $343,143.90.
Thank you, Dan. So item D is the resolution accepting the bids and awarding the contract. Don?
Resolution accepting bids and awarding the construction contract for the Iowa River Landing East Second Avenue Utility Improvement Projects 2019, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gill, seconded by.
Seconded by Dodds. Discussion?
Yeah, we put a provision in the resolution that it's subject to getting confirmation from the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics that they'll pay their portion. I did get a email from the business manager that they will cover their portion of the cost, but we do want to get that in writing just so that we make sure that that's covered.
Good job. Thank you. Roll call?
Dodds. Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross. Gill.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. And finally, item E for this project is approving the contract and bond documents.
Resolution approving the contract and bond documents for the Iowa River Landing East Second Avenue Utility Improvements Project 2019, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Dodds, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross. Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item 8, Stormwater Services. This is a resolution approving a professional agreement with Howard R. Green Incorporated for stormwater design, review, and inspection services.
Resolution approving a professional services agreement with H.R. Green, Inc. for stormwater services, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Discussion? Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross. Gill.
Aye.
Dodds. Goodrich.
Aye.
Okay, resolution passes all ayes. Item 9 is supplemental design standards and specifications for the installation of pole-mounted utility facilities within the city right-of-way. Don?
Resolution adopting a supplemental design standards and specifications to the Iowa statewide urban design and specifications for pole-mounted utility facilities, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gill. Discussion? Dan?
If I could,
Yes.
Mayor, thank you. These are the same standards that I presented to you in work session last council meeting, with one exception. I attended the statewide APWA meeting last week in West Des Moines, and they recommended that we also include fee structure within these standards as well, so that it's all been approved uniformly. So based on the FCC ruling that came out recently, the maximum fees allowed are $500 per single application, which include up to 5 facilities, with an additional $100 for each additional facility beyond 5. An annual fees of $270 per installation if they put it on city facilities, city poles. And also, we put in here a right for us to conduct a cost recovery survey in the future, if we so choose, if we decide that after this gets going, that the fees, the cost to the city for the application and the review is significantly more than this, we can do a cost recovery study to try to get those higher fees that were being spent. So that's the only, I passed that out to you earlier, that's the only addition to this beyond what was presented at work session 2 weeks ago.
So how would we just put an amendment on that?
Oh, it's included.
It's included in the,
It's
it's
included
included
of what
in
we-
the packet, the
Yep.
information you were given, but that's just the only change from what you saw 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It's good change.
And is this similar to what North Liberty and Iowa City are doing? Or?
Yes, there's many cities around the state are doing this. Again, there was a presentation last week at the APWA conference, and so many cities are hurry up to do this to meet the April 15th deadline.
Good.
Okay, roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross. Gill.
Aye.
Dodds. Goodrich.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item 10 is Lot 1, Cedars 4th Edition. This is the second reading of an ordinance that rezones a 6.88 acre lot north of Heartland Drive near the Taco Bell to CPUD 2 in order to build a 40-bed, 2-story rehabilitation hospital. Huh?
Ordinance number 2019-1002, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 664, as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as Lot 1, Cedars 4th Edition, from C2 Arterial Commercial District to CPUD 2 Commercial Plan Unit Development 2 District, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Any discussion? Roll call.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance passes its second consideration, all ayes. Anticipate the third reading will be at our next council meeting likely. Okay. Item 11 is the Iowa River Landing Parkview. This is a second consideration also of an ordinance that rezones a 9.99 acre parcel east of Von Mauer to RPUD1 for proposed development with 4 multifamily buildings and a total of 202 units on proposed lots 1 through 4 of the Iowa River Landing, and 2 buildings with a total of 170 units on proposed lots 5 through 7 and an outlot A. And it will also have a public park. Don?
Ordinance number 2019-1003, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 664 as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as Auditor's Parcel 2018111, part of Outlot B, Iowa River Landing, Part 5, and part of Outlot C, Coralville Hotel and Convention Center, first edition from C2 Arterial Commercial District to RPUD1 Residential Planned Unit Development 1 District, introduced for adoption, second consideration by Councilmember Gill, seconded by.
Seconded by Dodds. Discussion. Roll call.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its second consideration, all ayes. Item 12 is Redhawk. This is a second consideration of an ordinance that will change the land use to medium-density residential use for a 22.9 acre lot north of the Iowa Medical Classification Center and west of Coral Ridge Avenue to allow development of a multifamily complex comprised of 10 36-unit buildings, a clubhouse, and swimming pool on that 22 acres. Don?
Ordinance number 2019-1004, and an ordinance amending the Coralville Community Plan to reflect certain property generally known as a portion of the southeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 24, Township 80 North, Range 7 West, Coralville, Iowa, to be designated medium-density residential use in place of corridor commercial use, is introduced for adoption, second consideration by Councilmember Dodds, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gross. Discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Ordinance passes its second consideration, all ayes. Item 13 is multiple properties located within the Coralville limits of the city. Of Coralville south of I-80, west of First Avenue, north of 5th Street, and east of 20th Avenue Place. This is the second consideration of this ordinance for these rezonings to make the primary types of existing housing in these areas compatible to the city zoning classifications. Don?
Ordinance number 2019-1005, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 664 as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as multiple properties south of I-80, west of First Avenue, north of 5th Street, and east of 20th Avenue Place from R2 two-family residential district to R1 single-family residential district, and from R3 mixed housing residential district to R1 single-family residential district, and from R3 mixed housing residential district to R2 two-family residential district, is introduced for adoption, second consideration by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Discussion.
I'll start.
Okay.
At our last meeting, Mr. Connor, I think, had come to the podium and made some points to us, and since then has written a letter I'm sure all of us has received that was quite extensive with some research and trying to make his point to change our mind to exempt his zero or his duplex. For me, he did. He did it. He convinced me I couldn't find any argument with any of those things, and
So I know that a couple weeks ago, Councilwoman Goodrich had mentioned maybe we could exempt those duplexes in the church, and I would be in support of that.
So his neighbor or it's two neighbors basically, a duplex on one side and church on the other.
Correct.
Well, I'm going to vote in favor as it stands because I'm not, part of the reason we're doing this is not to create islands, and that's what that does. And it's not, I'm not looking at Mr. Connors, what he's going to do, but I'm looking at 20 years in the future when we have to correct this. And I'm just not in favor. It's what we're trying to do is in the best interest of the whole community. And I've had a lot of positive comments about what we are doing, and I know that it's just one property, but I still believe that we did the work session, we worked through this, and it's in the best interest of the community to keep this all intact and not have islands. And the last thing is, his arguments were great, but what we are doing does not harm his property at the present time. He disagrees, and I agree to disagree with him, but we are not doing any harm to that property.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Well, I appreciate what Lori brought up at the last meeting too, and last night I had a chance to go to the Connor property and check it out and to look at it and have a conversation with both Mr. Connors. And you know, maybe Joe, you might have been more persuaded by Jeff's note than I. There were some good points, and I talked with him about some of the things I agreed with, and there were some I didn't agree with and didn't feel there was merit to. But I also don't feel that, you know, when we're making this extensive of a change, you know, not every property does fit all the time. And, you know, with the church there, with the new Landon Park, which is multi-house family being built across the street, you know, I think there are some differences, and we have worked hard, Tom, and spent a lot of time on this, and I think, you know, kudos to us for doing that, because I think we're all committed to the same thing. But I also don't feel by exempting that dwelling, the one to the west, creates an island or undoes what our intent is. So I guess I'd like to move to amend that we exempt 912 20th Avenue Place, 2004. Well, I guess that one is it's Church 2004 20th Avenue Place, and 917 A and B 20th Avenue Place.
Yeah, and I would agree that I don't think it's a zero-sum game. I think we can still exempt, you know, make this one exception and still keep with the spirit of the entire ordinance and the entire plan and the entire vision. I'm confident, you know, that this is an exception that would be worth making. I don't think that, while I would prefer that, you know, maybe we had criteria so that we didn't have multiple people coming to us for exceptions, I feel like this one is one that we can make and still not lose the integrity of the plan and the vision that we have. I think too, you know, it's an unusual neighborhood in that there are several other, you know, apartment complexes and other multifamily dwellings around it, whereas some of the other properties that we're looking at and areas that we're looking at and what we're trying to address are these single-family homes that were never intended to be duplexes, where people are purchasing them and splitting them in half, whereas Mr. Connor's property was always intended to be a duplex. So I would be comfortable with that amendment as well.
So did Mitch make a motion?
He did. I was just going to okay, second, moved and seconded, and give Lori a chance.
I've said my piece.
Okay.
I think it can continue to be compatible with the rest of the neighborhood.
I think the question would be why you would include the church, because the church is,
Yeah.
yeah, because it is next door to single family, and it can go in any zoning, so.
Yeah, I think I misspoke. So
Yeah.
that's what
So
Kevin
I was
announcing
just
to me.
wanted to make sure I had
Yeah.
the right address before I.
My amendment would have, and I'm getting old here, so I apologize. Hope this isn't on camera.
It probably is.
917 A and B and 2004.
Okay. That's
So
all
the
right.
question, but the question is, again, with the churches, doesn't that revert back to the original zoning? If it was a church and it's no longer a church, we have, like Ace Hardware is an example. And we revert back, that church is there, but,
I
10
think-
years from now, it'll go back, it may not be there.
Right, but you, in this rezoning, you would be making that going into R1, so I think you would want to keep it
Keep it
as
R1.
R1.
Right.
Because the church is valid in any zone, and it would only be if the church converted or was torn down.
Right.
That you would, right.
There's a federal law that allows churches into zoning districts, so it really, what the zoning is,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
so.
we got into that with church uses. What is a church use?
Yeah.
We have a church, and then we have an apartment house with the church. What is the church? That's the issues that we get into with that, but again,
Okay.
So with your amendment, to make sure I have it right, 2004 and then 917 A and B?
Correct.
Thank you.
And then I'll second that.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to amend the ordinance, and that's just a.
Voice vote.
Voice vote, yep. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
nay.
Okay. One opposing vote and all nays. Now, unless there's more discussion, we'll do the roll call of the amended second consideration.
Correct. Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance passes at second consideration, all ayes. Thank you. Okay, item 14 is the Transit Title VI program plan. I just looked at it because I was Title VI, I guess that's right, yeah. I think that's different from back when I was the transit manager or something else, but anyway. This is a resolution for the Transit Title VI program plan that needs to be updated every 3 years. It addresses civil rights issues such as prohibiting discrimination based on race, color, or national origin by any program or activity that receives financial assistance, including the transit system. Don?
Resolution approving the Coralville Transit Title VI program plan, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Gill. Discussion?
Now, is this just a requirement, a federal requirement that we do this? Yeah.
Yes. Roll call?
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item 16, 15 was pulled from the agenda. Item 16 is property liability auto insurance renewal. Don?
Resolution approving the Iowa Communities Assurance Pool as the city's insurance carrier is introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gill. I'll call you a risk manager tonight.
All right.
Mike Funky's at the microphone. Mike, anything you'd like to
That's what
tell
I'll
us?
need tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say we got a very nice renewal premium back again from ICAP, including the voucher to save a little bit more money. The increase is only about $9,000 over the expiring premium out of $729,000 for a total bill. We recommend that we accept that proposal.
Thank you. Discussion? Roll call.
Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item B,
Resolution appointing Michael A. Funky and Kelly J. Hayworth as the individuals to represent the city with Iowa Communities Assurance Pool, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gill, seconded by.
Second.
seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item C,
Resolution approving Travelers as the city's cyber liability insurance carrier, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Dodds, seconded by.
Second.
seconded by Gross. I'd like to hear a little more about this, Mike.
Okay.
What is it, which direction does the protection go? Or what's being protected, I guess, than
What's being
cybersecurity?
protected is mostly a breach of our system. If we should happen to have a breach, there's a whole bunch of requirements that you have to do to notify those people whose personal information has been breached. And that can be, you have to send out notices, you have to follow up, you have to offer them credit checks every so often so that their information isn't being used. But then it also covers social fraud, which is the, hey, send me some money and I'll make sure that you get even more money kind of stuff, you know, the island off, you know, the prince off in some island that's going to be persecuted or whatever, things like that. But those are the obvious ones, but there's some very good ones coming up now. I mean, you've probably received them in your junk mail or just in your regular mail, where it looks like the UPS or FedEx or somebody, they're using their logos and everything else. It's getting very hard to control these social engineering fraud cases. We don't think we'll have a problem, but ICAP only offers a $250,000 limit. This would increase it up to $1 million above that, going to an outside insurance company to help us
So
with
that
all those things.
last situation you described, that would be someone fraudulently using our logo, saying the city of Coralville is offering something great.
It could be one of our employees falling for it.
Okay.
You know, if they got an email from Mayor Lundell and said, hey, we just approved last night a payment to XYZ company for $10,000, please send it out immediately, they can make it look very much like your account, and somebody may fall for that. You know? We hope they wouldn't. We have checks and balances in between, but that is the type of thing that it would help cover.
The finance officer's gotten 3 that had reference to me about paying bills.
Wow.
That, and so it's, I mean, they're that sophisticated that they have the right person with that kind of information. And all 3 times, he wondered why I would have emailed him.
And they're so specific to the positions, too. I got one from A. Kelly Hayworth asking to change his health insurance coverage. So they were asking, you know, wanting his personal information
So
for
they're
that, too.
getting
So
very good about.
They're very pointed at who they're directing these things to.
Yeah.
So that's why we just added the external note on our emails. And so Dale Rumer does a good job of protecting us there. Scott Larson helps educate us in that area too. But just like all insurance, you hope you never use it, but it's good to have it.
Is there anything in there for, you know, the city's social media accounts as well, if there's anybody?
It could cover things like that if it's shown that we provided a vehicle for somebody to fraud somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there special coverage for the Russians?
Exonerated. They weren't involved.
I keep getting emails from the Prince of Gillville.
I'm getting
Got one
weird
from
emails.
Mr. Gross about Beano.
I don't know if you heard.
I got a dental bill from the Gillville too, and I don't think I'm paying it.
Junk.
That's right.
I think we better do roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Gill. Dodds.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented or amended.
Motion to approve the consent calendar, items A through double B inclusive.
Moved by Gill, seconded by Dodds. Discussion? Roll call.
Gross. Aye. Gill.
Aye.
Dodds.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved. All ayes. City Administrator report.
Yeah. I just want it to be noted, Don, that I got a notice today that it is officially Be Nice to Your Attorney Day.
That was fraud.
Fake news.
There was all kinds of comments in reference to that, but since it's only 5 hours left, 4.5 hours left of the day, I think I can be nice to you.
I doubt if you could do it.
And just one thing that noted that we are, as part of Coralville Fourth Fest this year, we are honoring the 90th anniversary of the fire department in Coralville. And so we're working with the fire department on many different activities. One will be a reception on May 9th here at Coralville City Hall from 4:30 to 6:30. And we'll be inviting all of our past volunteers back for a celebration along with the general public. And our Fire Chief Ori Schweitzer and former firefighter Rex Branstetter will be putting a program together on, the history, old fires, all that kind of stuff that has happened. So I think it'll be very, very interesting. But that's just the first of about 4 different activities that'll be held this summer. In May, there will be an open house at the fire training facility, and the fire department will be doing just all kinds of demonstrations up there of the different trainings that they use that for, including live burn of car fire, car extrication, and there was one other one. But anyway, another good chance for the public just to see how our fire department, is protecting our community. So encourage people to come out to those events, and we'll have a lot more information on our Facebook and in our email that newsletter that goes out as well. A lot of other activities this weekend. On Saturday is the Fourth Fest Basket Auction, and that's at Brown Deer starting at 4:30. And they've got a lot of really, really nice baskets to raise money for the summer Coralville Fourth Fest. And then also on Sunday is the firefighter annual pancake breakfast. And so encourage people to come out, and that's from 7 o'clock till noon. So that's it.
Great, thank you, Kelly. Yeah, just to piggyback on a couple of your items, it's also this year the 25th anniversary of the Iowa Firefighters Memorial that's based here in Coralville on First Avenue. So at their June annual memorial service at the site, there'll be some extra additions this year to celebrate its 25th anniversary. So it's kind of nice that fits in so well with the Coralville Fire Department 90th anniversary. And the Iowa Association of Firefighters is having their mid-year, I think they call it, meeting this Saturday at the Marriott. So, and I'll be there welcoming them. So this is several years in a row they've met at our Marriott. So we appreciate them coming and holding their meeting in our facility. So it all ties together well. And on the basket auction, yeah, there's great baskets. It's a great opportunity to pick up a good price on something that's really good, but also all the money goes to a very good cause, the Fourth Fest. And as tradition started long before I was mayor, there will be a mayor's cake for those that wish to buy that. So, did you choke on that, Don? And the last thing I just wanted to mention, two more things. Since we won't have a council meeting before this happens, I just wanted to say that on next Thursday, a week from this Thursday, which is April 18th, I believe, we'll be having an open house for the Extreme Arena at 30 Hop across the street from where it's being built. It's just a general, from 4:30 to 6:30 at 30 Hop on April 18th, just a general open house. And we're going to be doing these about monthly or roughly monthly for the community to come out and just hear the latest updates on what's happening with the project. And we'll have all the right people there you can ask questions to. So 4:30 to 6:30 on the 18th. Got that right, didn't I?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Last thing, and that is just that it seems like with this beautiful spring weather like we had today, one of the things that people seem to think it's time to put the foot down on the gas pedal, and it seems to me that we've had, with warm weather comes excessive speeds in some cases. And I just want to encourage folks in Coralville to obey the speed limits. The police are out there, and they give tickets. It's not warnings, they give tickets. And for a 10-mile-an-hour over, say you were going 35 in a 25, by the time you get the court costs added in, it's over $135. So there's a penalty to be paid. So it's much better for you just to slow down and stay close to the speed limit. I would certainly appreciate it, and so would everyone else. Okay, that's it for me. City Attorney's report.
I have nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Committee and council members report. I think it's Megan's turn to start, maybe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple of things. I just first wanted to say thank you to everyone that attended the first Global Potluck at the library. That was in partnership with the Coralville Food Pantry. It was just an amazing event with, wonderful food, wonderful cuisine from around the world, and it was extremely well attended. There were approximately 300 people that attended that event, and it was just really fantastic to see all of the wonderful culture and diversity that we have in this community showcased for that evening. So thank you to everyone that attended and everyone that volunteered and helped make that event possible. I also wanted to mention that this Friday at Northridge Pavilion is the Coralville Food Pantry's Music for Meals fundraiser event. That will be from 7 to 9 p.m. I will be co-hosting that event with Keith Jones from Hills Bank. Keith is the chair of the Food Pantry Board, and I'm the vice chair, so that should be interesting and fun. And there are still tickets that are on sale. There's going to be fantastic music this year with the Dandelion Stompers as the headlining music act. So highly encourage folks to attend that event. It's going to be a very busy and fun weekend in Coralville for sure. So that is all I have. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Megan. Mitch?
I've got a few things. I wasn't going to share this story, but since we just passed a resolution giving us insurance in case our logo gets stolen, I did have the opportunity on Sunday to have breakfast with Beto O'Rourke, who's running for president. And as we were at the end of our breakfast, we were exchanging contact information. I handed him my Coralville business card. And you'll like this, just being a branding person. He said, "Oh my goodness, that's one of the best logos I have ever seen." What was the history of it? And I honestly, I didn't know what the history was, how long we've had it, or
Be the early 90s.
yeah, he said it was fantastic. So if we start seeing that appearing, we might have to use our insurance. So
Isn't it the reefs that would be in reference to?
yeah, I think so, because he said, gosh, it looked very coastal and beachy.
Yeah.
Like he just couldn't believe it was
That's
from a
what I
town
assumed it was.
in Iowa. I also just wanted to give a huge shout out to our employees. We had an employee appreciation dinner. I'm interested that the mayor didn't wear a tie today to our
Couldn't
meeting.
find it.
Yeah, couldn't find it. But again, to all of our employees, from everybody from Kelly on down, we really appreciate all the hard work that you do, because you really do make our city amazing. And one of the amazing things, I think, is our library. And as the council's representative to the library, I'd be remiss to talk a little bit about that. And I think Allison really hit a lot of things, but it really is kind of the, I always call it the jewel of our city, and it really is kind of the spot where everything does come together, whether it's hosting our community meals or teaching our newly our new citizens and new residents English classes, from things such as Canopy. Do you guys know what Canopy is?
It's amazing.
Canopy is we have Libby to get books. Canopy is the streaming service. I mean, so not to put Netflix out of business, but there's no reason to be a Netflix member, because you can stream for free from our library. So there's some great things. And lastly, tomorrow, in celebration of Library Week, and as Allison said, it's fine amnesty. You can turn in your old books for a while and get those exempted. But there is, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, is a showing of Ex Libris, which is a film about the the New York City Public Library. A little difference. Kelly, I don't know if you remember when we did that loop around New York City that one time. We walked right by with the big lions out in the front. But it's a 3-hour film. They are offering popcorn at the movie, but it's supposed to be a tremendous film just about kind of the role that libraries play in our society. So that's tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the library. And I think that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Mitch. Tom?
I really have nothing, except there's Sweeney Todd is being played at West High
Oh,
from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, so that's it.
okay. Jill?
Thank you, Mayor.
Mhm.
As the Parks and Recreation liaison, I had a couple of things. Our natural vegetation specialist, Josh Worrell, was honored as an outstanding professional of the year yesterday by the Iowa Urban Tree Council at Tree City USA Annual Awards Luncheon. And this award recognizes an individual who's active in promoting, preserving, planning, and planting a community's urban forest. And Josh has been very active in leading our Emerald Ash Borer plan. And he also coordinates the planting days with our schools, the youth there, and other volunteer organizations, and then assists in planting and planning our diverse urban tree population here in Coralville. So we're very proud of that. Divots is now open for lunch every day from 11 to 2, and will be open for the full service starting on April 23rd. And that means spring is here if Divots is open back up again. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Lori?
Thanks for all the good news. I have nothing to add.
Okay, very good. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Gill, seconded by Foster. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good.